Most certainly the first in this position. Thank you again to the residents of Lethbridge for giving me the opportunity to serve you. Look forward to working with you and humbled to be your mayor. Between city administration and all the hardworking departments in the corporation, as well as the previous city council and new council, there were some challenges in 2021 and here into 2022. But also plenty of good news stories for the City of Lethbridge. I'm looking forward to collaborative and respectful team efforts as we strive to move our city forward. Council is pledging to work with our local representatives, MP Rachel Thomas, MLA Shannon Phillips and Nathan Neudorf, and all other orders of government for the collective goal of creating a better Lethbridge and advocate for the resources and funding our city needs to address the key issues. We will push to further secure and advance our business sector's needs so we can be the first place investors and businesses come to when they look to open new doors and new ventures. Indigenous relationships will continue to be a focus as we move forward with City Council. I look forward to continuing to be a good neighbor to the neighboring nations and progressing the good work being done here in this space. So what has Council been doing since being elected and sworn in? The first month was largely orientation and strategic planning, and I'm really excited to see how our council is already working together. There's been really good energy and engagement from everyone in the work that we've done so far. We spent time through our orientation learning about the important processes and procedures throughout the Municipal Government Act and what we need to follow as a City Council. We've received context from City Administration about the big pieces of work underway and the challenges we may have before us. So I'll be speaking today about a few key main areas. So how the new City Council will operate differently, top priorities, the pandemic response, business support, and major projects, reconciliation efforts, finances, and the next steps. At our meeting on January 18th, Council was happy to unveil its Gateway to Opportunity 2022 Action Plan, which outlines the initiatives we've identified as priorities for the next 12 months. Lethbridge residents can expect a new approach for City Council in 2022, one that clearly articulates priorities, creates transparency, reports performances, and builds community trust. Some of the key work identified for immediate attention in 2022 includes supporting provincial partners in healthcare with family physician recruitment and retention, establishing a community well-being and safety strategy task force, a review of the CityLINK transit system, enabling support and examining opportunities for an emergency shelter, establishing a regional economic development and tourism strategy, and establishing an Indigenous resource hub. During this 4-year term, Council will develop an annual action plans and are committed to report progress back to the community every 3 months. We also intentionally updated the language to move away from the term strategic plan to action plan, which showcases that this will be a results-based living document. A further detailed look at the action plan is available at lethbridge.ca/2022 action plan. Doctor shortage. We've heard from the community that this is a significant issue, and we are working with Alberta Health, who recruit family physicians, and Alberta Health Services, who provide the other health services in our community, which are also being impacted by the family doctor shortage. Even though the municipal government does not have jurisdiction over healthcare in Alberta, we want to look at what other things that we can do as a city to attract new doctors. We're hoping to contribute in whatever way we can. A healthy and thriving community has to include a strong base of family doctors. At the Cultural and Social Standing Policy Committee, the meeting on December the 1st, a resolution was passed to refer this item to the city manager to continue developing an action plan to be brought back to City Council at a future meeting. Community safety. Lethbridge City Council and the City of Lethbridge staff care deeply about the wellness of our community. Kudos to Lethbridge Police Service for the recent launch of their Stop the Op campaign, which has the goal of awareness and the message of we can reduce theft in our communities if we remove the opportunity for crime. By understanding how a lack of opportunity leads to less crime, we can begin to change the face of Lethbridge forever. You can read more about it at withoutopportunity.ca/stoptheopp. Also of note, the Crime Severity Index is on a downward trend in Lethbridge, as it is in many parts of the country. The city has a role of ensuring a clean and safe community, facilitating partnerships and advocating other orders of government for the services that we require. Much work has been done from city administration and past city council to move this initiative forward. Responding to a drug crisis is a very complex issue. The city is one partner in the response as we work to support the provincial government and agencies who provide the programs and services related to addictions and mental health in our community. At the Alberta Municipalities Conference in November, Minister of Community and Social Services Jason Luan and I talked about the need to get moving on these resources and services that we need throughout our community. We have the same priorities to be able to better support the most vulnerable in our community. I do hope that we will see further announcements around programs and services in our area in the near future. We will always advocate for the resources we need, but Council does not direct the Lethbridge Police Service. That is the role of the Police Commission. The city funds LPS, so that'll be a discussion for all of Council when we begin the budgeting process. Next, affordable housing. Secure housing is a key to keeping the community safe and healthy. A housing supplement program was established in February 2021 when City Council approved $500,000 in one-time funding, working with the Lethbridge Housing Authority as the administrator of the program. This program is designed to help families struggling to make their housing payments during this pandemic. At the Alberta Municipalities Conference, our message to the ministry was, we are here, we want to work together, we are creative and ready to find a made in Lethbridge solution. We've done so good in this area with our municipal housing strategy and our community well-being and safety strategy. This is ongoing, and I look forward to what we can accomplish going forward. The CityLINK transit system. On January 6th, members of the civicworks Standing Policy Committee voted unanimously to postpone to its February 3rd meeting the potential approval of the CityLINK network redesign results in order to gather more public feedback before proceeding with any further decisions and direction. Notices for the February 3rd meeting have been up on the city's website and social media, as well as with posters placed on buses and at transit hubs, and attempts for messaging to reach transit users directly. The recommendations presented at the civicworks Standing Policy Committee is for CityLINK to become permanent with quarterly adjustments made to reflect feedback, changing travel patterns, and metric indicators. The potential alternatives presented are restore budget under CityLINK to build ridership and further improve efficiency and effectiveness of the system, or return to the previous system at a cost of $352,000 annually with a $150,000 one-time cost. Residents can provide feedback on the CityLINK network by calling 311. Alternatively, feedback can be submitted to the civicworks Standing Policy Committee directly via written letter, online, or by registering to speak at the February 3rd meeting. The economic and industrial impact of COVID-19 pandemic has infected all aspects of life, including our population, unemployment, and GDP data. As part of economic recovery efforts, the previous council approved a series of development-based incentive programs to support investors as well as business owners and their employees. The 6 areas of focus included real estate sales and leases, affordable and social housing capital project grant, urban core housing incentive program, targeted redevelopment incentive program, the urban core property improvement grant program, and industrial municipal tax incentive. 5 of these were existing that were redeveloped for the present situation. These incentive programs dedicated just over $6 million in funding to support economic recovery. These dollars have been committed from existing funding sources and will not impact residential taxes. Broadband connectivity. Last year was announced that Lethbridge is set to receive more than $13 million from the federal government as part of a COVID-19 resilience infrastructure stream put in place to support Canadians and communities during the current pandemic. Part of the funding is nearly $5.5 million to improve broadband internet connectivity in the Sharing and Churchill industrial parks. We know this has been a major need for years, and I know I am extremely excited to see that this is being taken place. Next, the Lethbridge Airport. As flights continue to rise at Lethbridge's airport, despite a few recent hiccups with airline cancellations similar to the rest of the country, the City of Lethbridge is excited to see renovations almost completed ahead of the grand opening, which will hopefully happen soon when it can be done safely. After investing $2.6 million into the airport, the City leveraged an additional $23 million in provincial and federal grant funding for a variety of critical infrastructure projects. Those projects are focused on increasing passenger traffic, revenue diversification through land development, fire safety, and more, all to position the airport for pandemic recovery and future growth. The airport is key to the continued growth of our economy. The investment we've put into our airport also positions our city and region in a competitive place for business attraction and retention for years to come. Encouraging continued growth of passenger traffic, improving the net operating margin, and negotiating agreements for establishing new roles and routes to and from the Lethbridge Airport are the primary goals of the new Airport Incentive Framework, which Council also endorsed last week. As part of this resolution, Council also approved the creation of an initial fund not to exceed $1 million to facilitate negotiations with any interested parties. The work is to be funded through the Municipal Revenue Stabilization Reserve, the MRSR. The approval of this framework touches on several key items outlined in Council's action plan for 2022, including the airport performance and governance evolution, which will help us achieve the strategic goal of economic prosperity. Despite the ongoing challenges of COVID-19 pandemic, the Lethbridge Airport saw a 228% increase in passenger movements in Q3 of 2021 when compared to the same period in 2020. Further information on the Airport Incentive Framework will now be developed and shared with prospective partners going forward. A new fire station. The new fire station number 5 became operational June 21st, 2021. City Council approved $10.3 million to construct the station, but it came in at just under budget at $9.5 million. Fire station number 2 is on Whoop Up Drive and Jerry Potts Boulevard and was built in 1980 when the west side population was about 4,000. Today, the area population is close to 40,000, so the need was very evident. The addition of a second fire station located in the south end of West Lethbridge will improve response times for the west side of the city. Further, the location of additional firefighting resources will dramatically improve the time it takes to assemble enough resources, both firefighters and equipment, to deal with residential and wildland fires. Another congratulations to both recently named new Chief Greg Adair and soon-to-be retired Chief Mark Rathwell. All the best to you both. Patios and Parklets. Last year, City Council approved up to $40,000 to provide businesses citywide with expanded outdoor seating options for patios and parklets. Business owners could apply for a 50% matching grant, up to $1,000 for improvement-related costs such as furnishings, barriers, heaters, plants, and planters. Council believes increasing support for this program is an important decision to continue to support our business community. Anyone who experienced this past summer were more than likely happy with this program. Festival Square. Last July, Lethbridge City Council voted to proceed with a revised plan for Municipal Stimulus Program, MSP, which included $1.71 million Festival Square Marketing Plaza, allowing Festival Square to proceed without any city funding, to ensure that the project is delivered as an economic catalyst for downtown. The new Festival Square Market Plaza will include an interactive stage, entry signs, decorative column lighting, programmable lighting, and site furniture, as well as water, wastewater servicing, and lane rehab. We're also excited to see this project when it finishes up in 2022. Exhibition Park. As a cornerstone of its economic recovery plan, the provincial government announced $27.8 million for the Exhibition Park expansion project and agri-food hub. The project will create 400 construction jobs with an estimated 50 incremental jobs after completion. The estimated ongoing economic impact to Lethbridge and Southern Alberta will grow to $90 million annually. This project is a huge economic catalyst that will lead to greater investment and job creation as agricultural industries further develop within the city and the region. We're proud to be recognized as part of Canada's premier food corridor and look forward to strengthening that position with this project. The new Nikka Yuko Bunka Center is now open and will become the new cultural centerpiece of the garden experience. This new facility is city-owned and will be operated by the Lethbridge and District Japanese Garden Society. It will enhance both the Nikka Yuko Japanese Garden and Henderson Lake Park visitor experiences by providing garden visitors with new and improved cultural, historical, horticultural, and other related program and exhibits outside the garden, as well as providing a venue for event and meeting space for public and private functions taking place in the community. The $2.92 million project is being primarily funded with a $2.538 million grant through the Federal Gas Tax Fund, plus $292,000 through the Community Pay-As-You-Go program, and $90,000 through fundraising. The Society has contributed an additional $520,000 for further upgrades to the center's interior. Our ability to produce world-class research and innovation between our two outstanding post-secondary institutions is phenomenal. I look forward to continue to work together with the University of Lethbridge and the Lethbridge College to leverage the work they do to bring focus to how they're changing the game of technology and innovation on the world stage. In June 2021, on the 112th anniversary of the completion of Lethbridge's iconic high-level bridge, the City of Lethbridge introduced a fresh, new brand. This change will help build community pride while attracting new visitors, investors, businesses, students, and residents. The City of Lethbridge brand is built on 4 foundations: community, service, people, and success. The visual aspects of the brand combine the elements of a progressive city with local perspectives while trying in the movement of the Oldman River located in the heart of the Blackfoot territory. These all work together to tell the City of Lethbridge's story. Let's take a look at the promotional video that was created.
When our city was founded way back in 1906, it was still searching for its identity. So City Council put up a $25 prize in a community-wide coat of arms contest. That contest established the symbol that would represent our city for the next 114 years. But our story has changed so much over the last century. We've grown from 2,300 people to a population of more than 100,000 strong. That makes us the 3rd largest city in Alberta. We have 2 world-class post-secondary institutions, and we're the hub for an emerging agri-food industry. We're known for our picturesque parks and amazing facilities. We're growing into a progressive city that continues to attract students, residents, businesses, and visitors. Lethbridge is Alberta's blueprint for success, the solution that integrates community strength, strong roots, ingenuity, opportunity, and purpose, built to serve and grow an evolving community. We are an inspirational force of nature, built with the aim to instill trust and provide limitless possibilities for the future. while honoring and recognizing that these are the traditional lands of the Blackfoot people. We love the history of our crest, but it's time to bridge our past with our future. We're a growing city. With forward-thinking perspectives. It's time to step up and speak out about the amazing opportunities right here in Lethbridge. This is our new story. Let's turn the page.
Thank you, and thank you especially to, you might have recognized a voice there that was narrating that was Hunter Hyggen with King of Trade, so thank you, Hunter, for that work well done. Next, we have reconciliation efforts. The MOU focuses on 4 areas of shared interest: health and wellness, including housing, education, justice, racism, and discrimination; economic development and employment; community planning, including land use planning, the environment, cultural resource management, and emergency response; and communications. The purpose of the MOU is to establish stronger communications, planning, and opportunities for joint advocacy between the City of Lethbridge and the Kainai Blood Tribe to advance issues of common interest and resolve issues of common concern. So the signing of Memoranda of Respect, Understanding, and Partnership, the MOU, with the Kainai and Blood Tribe. The Blackfoot Confederacy flag. The permanent raising of Blackfoot Confederacy flag signaled the official kickoff to the Reconciliation Week last September. Seeing the flag flying permanently outside City Hall is a visual reminder of the history of the land we're located on. And we hope the visual sparks conversation, questions, and encourages our community to engage in meaningful opportunities. In November, we launched a new land acknowledgement video, OKI and Welcome. This Welcome to Territory piece is now available on the city's YouTube channel as a resource for the community.
OKI.
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 OKI and welcome.
We acknowledge that we're gathered on the lands of the Blackfoot people of the Canadian Plains.
We pay respect to the Blackfoot people's past,
present,
and future.
We recognize the thousands of Indigenous peoples
From many diverse nations.
call Lethbridge home.
Including members of the Blackfoot Confederacy,
The 6 gates of the beat,
Akana,
Siksika,
Amskapi people.
As well as other First Nations,
Métis, and Inuit peoples.
We respect Indigenous people's cultural heritage,
Beliefs,
truth
and relationship to the land.
that stretches back in time.
We will not blink at history.
We will not blink at history.
and we will learn from it.
OKI is an invitation.
A step forward.
In Blackfoot, OKI means hello.
Oki means hello.
Hello. OKI.
OKI.
OKI. OKI, and welcome to the lands of the Blackfoot people.
The City of Lethbridge is proud to publicly recognize and officially observe the National Truth and the Day of Truth and Reconciliation on September 30th, deepening our commitments to the truth and reconciliation. To honor the importance of this day, city facilities were closed on September 30th this last year and will be that way in the future. Some of the other reconciliation efforts. City Council has directed the Mayor's Office to issue and declare a permanent declaration proclaiming October 4th as a Sisters in Spirit Day in Lethbridge. The Sisters in Spirit Vigil honors the lives of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, supporting grieving families, provides opportunities for healing, and is a movement for social change, encouraging education and understanding related to the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls and two-spirited persons. City Council approved the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls Recommendations and Work Plan, which follows the 2017 commitment to address the 94 calls of action of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Council voted to advance the Indigenous placemaking strategy a year ahead of its originally scheduled start. Council had previously approved the strategy that includes a review and audit of the public spaces, markers, and language used by the city as part of the 2022 to 2031 Capital Improvement Program, the CIP. The City of Lethbridge is responsible for the public spaces in the community, such as city-owned parks, neighborhoods, and facilities, certain historical markers, as well as the naming of public infrastructure and spaces. We're currently seeking input on this project with survey open until February 28th at getinvolvedlethbridge.ca. City finances. We have some excellent resources at the city website and provide additional detail and are really easy to understand. Just visit lethbridge.ca and search for city finances. For revenues and expenses. What does it take to operate the city on a day-to-day basis? I know I hear this all too often. Well, it's a little bit of a breakdown with this graph. So 22% is protective services, that's police, fire, and EMS. 19% is electric, 19% infrastructure and transportation services, 15% leisure and human services. These four areas comprise about 75% of our annual operating budget. So where does the revenue come from to fund the operating budget? 43% comes from sales and goods and services, including utility service charges and user fees for things like recreation and cultural facilities. 35% comes from municipal portion of your property taxes and other municipal levies. Here's a more detailed explanation to break down what the municipal portion of your tax bill paid for in 2021. You'll again see the largest portion going towards our vital emergency services, with police at 15% and fire and emergency services at 14% and 15% to community services. In 2019, there was a 1.82% municipal tax increase, which was the lowest in 20 years. For 2020, we adapted and created a 0% municipal tax rate increase, and now that will continue for 2021 and 2022. These adjustments will be applied to the municipal portion of the residential property taxes. Individual properties may see a tax change on their bills for other reasons, such as change in property assessment, the value of your home, business, or multifamily complex, an increase to the Green Acres Foundation budget or to the Alberta school budget, and new construction or demolition. Property tax bills are specific to each property. Anyone with questions can contact 311 to get information specific to their assessment and tax bill. You can also visit lethbridge.ca/taxes to learn more about property taxes. The CIP, Capital Improvement Program. Last June, Lethbridge City Council approved the 2022 to 2031 Capital Improvement Program, the CIP. The economic SPC began with $74 million available, with additional federal gas tax funding of $6 million for 2021 to 2022, bringing the total available to approximately $80 million. Funding allocations approvals for the 2022 to 2025 CIP total about $66 million, with $64.5 million of that being unrestricted funding. The remaining amount available is about $15.5 million. As Council, at the start of the deliberations, also approved $10 million for future CIP allocations. We did our best to achieve a balance between essential projects and investing in projects to generate employment and improvement in the city, as well as being cautious not to spend all the money that was available to us. Some of the approved CIP projects include Waste and Recycling Curbside Organics Program, Electric Bus and Charging Infrastructure, the Henderson Ice Center Upgrade, Twin Outdoor Sports Courts, Legacy Park Pickleball Courts, Fritzick Pool Renovation, and a Warehouse District Area Redevelopment Plan. The details are available on the city website. Budgeting processes. Last year, City Council approved an enhanced budgeting process that will align the approvals of a 4-year cycle of operating budget and the capital improvement program into the same year. This will be a change from a previous practice where Council debates and approves a 4-year budget cycle every 2 years, alternating between CIP and operating budget. City Council stewards the budgets on behalf of the community, and this change will help Council provide greater budgetary oversight, better connect the capital and operating budgets, and help Council strategically focus on revenues and expenditures. This new process also gives councillors more opportunity to effect change within the budgets over the course of the term. The City of Lethbridge 2021 annual report will come to City Council this spring. In November 2022, Council will undergo its next operating budget deliberations. The municipal election follow-up. So thanks to the several departments for their work around this, the introduction of a number of new initiatives with a focus on convenience, flexibility, and efficiency for voters, including a drive-through voting option. Voter turnout was up 35%, whereas turnout for the last 5 elections has only been about 31% on average. At the 2021 municipal election, residents voted 60.41% yes to a non-binding question, do you agree that City Council should approve plans to construct a 3rd bridge prior to 2030 as municipal capital project priority? So of course, we will explore that and may look like what the cost may be. So that is going to be coming back from our city manager in the future as far as some of those direct costs, etc. Last month, Council voted to have administration investigate further potential sites for that 3rd river crossing, further south from the current proposed location, as well as assess the approximate cost to construct the 3rd river crossing at the potential site or sites that may need to be identified. And this report, as mentioned, will be coming back at a later time, in September 2022, actually. Residents voted 55.69% to do you support a ward system to elect city councillors starting with the 2025 municipal election. Council will begin looking at this next section of its new action plan. In July 2021, in response to residents' concerns as well as the general aesthetics of city parks and open spaces, Council voted to reinvest funding back into the parks budget. As part of the resolution, the city manager is also to report back to Council in the spring of this year for information on the outcomes of these budget changes and their impact on the general aesthetics of the city's parks and open spaces. We understand grasshoppers were extremely frustrating and upsetting for some of our residents, particularly those that back on to farmers' fields. Given the projection that we are likely to experience similar issues this year, the city has reached out to both federal and provincial pest control agencies for assistance in identifying specific actions the city might take to mitigate the impact of grasshopper infestations. Mitigation work is planned for summer 2022 following the Alberta Assessment Guidelines. There are a number of other action items also being developed for other areas. Next, I'm not sure if you've all heard, we're on a look for a city manager. We see the resignation from our city manager, Craig Dalton, as he goes to continue and pursue another opportunity. Craig's worked in Lethbridge since May 19th, 2020, and has been tasked with the difficult job of leading our city through a global pandemic while ensuring the continuity of services for our residents. And I know showing up here, there hasn't been a day that our city manager has not seen Lethbridge without the effects of COVID. So I want to thank Craig for his hard work and the building blocks and systems he has put in place for us to continue to grow and improve our community. The city manager is an important role, and we've been fortunate to have some very talented people in the position over the years. Each has brought value and expertise to the position, helping to move the organization and our city forward. We're now looking forward to finding the next leader for the city and the skills and new perspective they will bring to this organization. At the end of the day, the city manager is but one position. It's a very important position, but we also have a great, strong workforce, dedicated, and who love Lethbridge. That has not changed. We also have a very strong executive leadership team that will continue to guide this organization. The 2022 Tim Hortons Brier recently submitted a mayor's message with a program for the 2022 Tim Hortons Brier at the NMAX Center here in Lethbridge. Our city is the gateway to opportunity, and we are so proud to have a storied history of hosting major curling events to show for it. Lethbridge has previously hosted the 2019 Men's World Curling Championships, the 2017 World Mixed Doubles Curling Championship, the 2017 World Senior Curling Championship, the 2012 World Women's Curling Championship, and the 2007 Scotties Tournament of Hearts. By hosting the 2022 Tim Hortons Brier, Lethbridge will become the only city to have hosted each and all of these events. What a notable accomplishment. It is truly an honor to have the Brier in our city, and we wish all the best to the teams that will be arriving. Let's have a safe and successful event. So the closing remarks, Lethbridge is the gateway to opportunity. I want our council to be a source of continued optimism. We will strive to be an open, accountable, and transparent group of leaders. We will address the concerns of all our residents. Whether you voted for us or not, we aim to be good financial and environmental stewards for future generations and hope to leave our city in a better place in 4 years than it is today. Thank you all for attending.